What going YouTube, man? It's your boy Jay Smalls. I'm coming at y'all boys with another video, man. And today we are reacting to the greatest MVP race of our time, but by the one and only Jimmy High Roller, man. You already know Jimmy High Roller always be coming out with them bangers, baby. You feel what I'm saying? Always. But if you clicked on this video, man, yes, whether you stop watching now, later, I just appreciate you for clicking on and watching even a little bit if you are. You feel what I'm saying? And hopefully you're having a great and fantastic, blessed day so far. And shout out to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for allowing me to be here, allowing y'all to be here, and just everything he has done for all of us and being so good. You feel what I'm saying? Thank you, Jesus. But, without further ado, baby, let's get the video.
We are now just a few weeks away from the end of the 2025 NBA regular season, and by this point, the MVP race is usually all but wrapped up. But what do you do when there's two MVPs? History says you vote for the guy who is leading his team to the most wins of any team in a decade while putting up prime Michael Jordan numbers, very clearly the best player on the best team, which should make this decision pretty obvious. Except it's not. Because history has never seen a season like the one Nikola Jokic is having. It's better than this one, and this one, and this one. In fact, it is possibly the most impactful season anyone has ever had. Two all-time great campaigns, and only one trophy.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not know Nikola Jokic was coming like this. I have so much, I can like easily yap for like 5 minutes right now, but I'm trying to let the video get going, bro. You know that dang.
In recent
because I know there's gonna be some stats that shock me.
Completely torn, questioning.
So I just don't want to say nothing.
To be the NBA's most valuable player.
You got some cinematic intros. I ain't gonna lie.
Today's video is sponsored by.
We don't got time for that, bro. No DraftKings over here. I went on a 17 game. Hey, that's another thing, bro. If you put in parlays, bro, I'm just keep it a buck. I ain't lie, for the first time in my life, like around like November, October, I was putting in parlays. When I tell you, bro, around December, January, I went on around a 17 straight parlay streak. I put one more in like a couple weeks or days later. I won one, and it was only for like $5. I have never put in a parlay again. When I tell you, bro, I am scarred from that experience. There were so many there was a parlay, I would have won like $120. The dude made the kick. Then they got a penalty call I've never heard of in my life. Then the Cowboys could have kicked it again, but they didn't. They decided to go for a 4th down, launch my parlay. Boy, I was hot. I don't think I'm ever banned ever again after my experiences, bro. So many parlays that just got so close to launch. See, that's one thing about me. I don't want my whole day to be ruined just because I lost my parlay. I ain't got time for none of that, bro. I ain't got time for that. Like, I was putting parlays in. My whole day revolved around that parlay. If I lost, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I'm mad. I'm angry at the world, bro. I ain't even trying to be like that, though. I'm trying to be, happy. There's so much things to be happy and joyful for. And all of a sudden, my day's ruined because I lost my parlay. And now I'm looking at the NBA players that I can't even watch sports games the same no more. Because if you don't hit my parlay, now I got a problem. So for all the people who win parlays and are actually good, I don't know how you do it. Shout out to you. But most people lose. Y'all just like me. I know they say if you quit, you never gonna hit. But hey, I guess I'm never gonna hit. Shoot, I'm quitting, bro. And I know some ball, but like, dang.
The most compelling case someone can make to be the most valuable player in the league is to put up the best numbers in the league. This isn't the only ingredient to the MVP recipe, but it's a big one. And right now, Jokic and Shea aren't just having the 2 best seasons in the NBA, they're having 2 of the best seasons of all time. Just looking at some simple box score numbers, Nicole...
Like, bro, just look at these stats, bro. I feel like he's gonna show up a stat of Nikola Jokic. I think Nikola Jokic should be MVP. But I know he's going to bring up some extra stats. Extra stats later. But I'm going to say
Jokic jumps off the screen like the obvious favorite.
Fact.
A near 30-point triple-double on nearly the best efficiency.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yes, I'm saying it right now. Nikola Jokic is an MVP. If you think Shea's an MVP, I genuinely do not know what to tell you, bro. This man is 3rd in points per game, 3rd in rebounds, 2nd in assists. He's tied 2nd in steals per game. It's Nikola Jokic. My man is 7 foot with a body build of an alcoholic, bro. No diss to alcoholics, man. I'm just saying, let's be honest. My brother don't look like, he can't even move for real like that. He got no athleticism. My brother he averaged the same amount of steals as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I don't even know how that's possible. He's 8th in field goal percentage. 41% from the 3. Come on, bro. How is this man not the MVP? Don't let all that voter fatigue and all that Shai hooping. I ain't gonna sit up here and act like Shai not doing nothing crazy. He not hooping. But, bro, my man Nikola Jokic is playing diff. There's no way y'all saying Shai the MVP. Only thing that can make that Shai got over Nikola Jokic is literally the team. Obviously, he averaged more points. But going off of stats, it's not even close. Who's the MVP? Only thing Shai got is literally the record. Other than that, scratch that off. Nikola Jokic is wiping him and everything else. Let's just be honest. So, Nikola should win his 3rd MVP. I remember when he was first winning. I did not want to see bro win. I'll be honest. But Shai is, not Shai. Nikola Jokic is different, bro. This has never been done before. How he's like top 3 in 4 of these categories, bro. Or even just 3 of them, never been done before. Shout out Nikola Jokic, bro.
Entire league, and the first player to ever be top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. Numbers that make Shai's season look a bit pedestrian, despite being historic. 33, 5, and 6 on at least 60% true shooting is a stat line that has only been achieved by 3 other players.
Wait, hold on. I ain't lie. That's crazy, bro. That's wild.
History of the NBA, Michael Jordan, James Harden, and Luka Doncic across 5 different seasons. Although none of them were as efficient as Shai is this season. However, box score numbers by themselves have never been quite enough to compel voters. Of these 5 previous seasons, only one of them ended up winning the MVP.
James Harden
in '88.
Wait,
and to pull
James Harden didn't win MVP? Was that 2017? Probably was. Dang, MJ was going
be
crazy.
The best defensive player in the league. In the case of Jokic, there's only been one season in modern NBA history that compares to his. Russell Westbrook in 2017. And that season, he was the runaway MVP,
so much rants in my head, bro.
69 of the total 101
I'm sorry. If y'all watch me, bro, y'all
had to also be
just what it is.
Ended up winning.
I ain't gonna lie. Who's the GOAT? MJ or Bron? Who's the GOAT? I remember, bro. I was always on the MJ side, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Until maybe like a month, 2-3 months ago, bro, I was always on the MJ side. But now, I don't even know who the GOAT is no more. You can say Bron or MJ. Personally, it don't matter to me. As long as you're saying one of them two, and it's not by a far either. They're close. But if you say one of them two, I literally can care less. But if you say somebody else outside of MJ, Bron, that's where we have a problem. But what y'all think? I know a lot of people gonna say about Bron, his longevity and this, and that. Obviously, he got the 3-1 comeback. Crazy 7-3-19. But MJ, on the other hand, 3-peated. Took a break. 2-year break. Came back. 3-peated again. MJ never lost in the finals. He didn't make almost finals LeBron, but he got more rings. MJ was different. LeBron's different, though. LeBron, 2017, 2018, Bron is the best basketball player to ever walk the planet. You know, Jesus does not count, by the way. But like, you feel what I'm saying? It just, you know, it just like, I don't know. I truly don't know who the GOAT is, bro. Y'all let me know down below in the comments or wherever y'all seen this, bro. Just let me know some. Me personally, I'm low-key starting towards Bron. I'm just keeping it a buck. But MJ's so nice. I don't know, bro. Whenever I think about Bron, I don't know.
MVP, Michael Jordan in '88. And to pull it off, he had to also be the best defensive that compares to his. Russell Westbrook in 2017. And that season, he was the runaway MVP, receiving 69 of the total 101 first place votes. The glaring difference between these two seasons, the mile-wide gap in their efficiency. Nearly a decade and some of the most absurd statistical seasons later, and the upgraded version of Westbrook's MVP season not only doesn't warrant a runaway victory for the award, it may not even win it. But these numbers hardly even scratch the surface of the impact and value these two provide every game. If we take a deeper look into some of their more advanced numbers, we can see just how remarkable Shai and Jokic have been this season and why the MVP race is as close as it is. To put into perspective the caliber of season these two are having, LeBron at his absolute statistical peak had a box plus minus of 13.24. Steph Curry at his absolute best had a BPM of 11.94.
That has to be false,
This season, Jokic has a box plus minus of 13.21 and Shea is at 11.58. Choosing between Jokic and SGA this season is like picking between 09 LeBron and 2016 Steph. Good luck. For the last half.
Am I crazy for saying 2016 Steph? I don't truly remember 09 LeBron though, so I can't say that. I was only 3 years old at the time. I don't remember how Kobe was. So
Jokic has led the league in just about every advanced metric by about a mile. But this season, Shea has threatened Jokic's spot and even dethroned him at times as the best player in the league.
How is Jokic not clear cut?
Probably the most impressive thing he's done all season. On any given night, either one of them can look like the most impactful player on the planet. And even looking at advanced numbers.
Do you see how much, obviously this is common sense. Do you see all the checks over here? The checks right here, and then you look at the usage. How is Jokic not the MVP? At least the front runner. I'm lost.
Edge is only slightly in Jokic's favor. Crafted NBA has Jokic as the best player in the NBA this season, with Shea right behind him, and then a really big gap, and then everyone else. Estimated plus minus, on the other hand, has Shea as the best player in the league this season, with Jokic right behind him, and then huge gap, everyone else.
And I do like Shea, so don't
these catch-all statistics will tell you that Jokic and SGA are both historically and almost equally as dominant this season. Fortunately for those who are put to the difficult task of choosing between Jokic and SGA for MVP, these numbers have never been a direct indication of who will or who should win the award. Over the last 2 decades, the best or most impactful player in the NBA in any given season, according to some of the best advanced metrics, ended up winning the MVP award only about half of the time. Many times, these are cases where the individual numbers were backed with regular season team success. But
wait, Jokic will have 4 MVPs?
Alone, regardless of how—
Yo! I did not know that. Jokic would have 4 of them Johns? Or am I tripping? Yeah, he would. Oh, that's crazy. Wait, Harden? Oh, never mind.
They were been enough to be crowned the most valuable player in the league. In fact, if putting up the best stats automatically made a player the MVP, voting for the award wouldn't even be necessary. So in terms of sheer individual numbers, there isn't a very compelling case to be made in either direction. Jokic's numbers are better, but without more context, their dominance from game to game is virtually the same. So we need to add more context. How are these performances impacting their team? And to what extent does their historic production lead their team to success?
Yeah. It's what he do,
guys. In most cases, when 2 players are having incredible seasons, the tiebreaker in the eyes of fans and voters comes down to how well their team is playing. The second ingredient to the MVP recipe: win and win often. 25 of the last 30 MVPs went to players who clinched either the first or second seed in their conference. And right now, the Thunder aren't just winning more games than the Nuggets. They are the 4th highest winning team in modern NBA history. But
whoa. I knew their record was crazy, but I did not know it was this crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I did not know that.
Recently, team success has held less weight in the MVP discussion than it has in the past. 3 of the last 4 MVPs going to players outside of the top 2 seeds.
Dang, they were 60 when he won?
The second player in over 40 years to win the MVP, despite his team not even cracking 50 wins in a full season back in 2021. As if the voters have made the decision that the MVP isn't limited to simply the best player on the best team, but rather the player who has the largest impact on a winning team. And right now, there is one player in basketball who is impacting the game far more than anyone else. Here are the current top 8 leaders in the MVP race: Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Tatum, Mitchell, Curry, Mobley.
Curry's in there, good!
Here are the net ratings of each of their teams.
Giannis is different too, boy. Giannis been playing diff this season too.
Shea has put on a masterclass all season, leading the Thunder to be not just the most dominant team this season, but the 2nd most dominant regular season team in NBA history in terms of net rating. And for many people, the overwhelming team success the Thunder have had this season is enough to push Shea into the lead for the MVP. But value isn't just when your team wins. It is how much your team depends on you to win. If we look at each team's net rating when their MVP candidate is on the floor, it is clear that the Thunder are easily the best team in the league when Shai is on the court, with an absurd net rating of plus 18.3. This means that when
got
Shai
the Thunder
is on the
moving
floor,
different.
the Thunder are nearly 20 points better than their opponents per 100 possessions, followed by the Cavs with Mobley, the Cavs with
Evan
Mitchell,
Mobley
and the
is
Nuggets
in
with
there.
Jokic.
I ain't
But the
gonna lie.
most
They going crazy over there, but
revealing measure is the difference a player makes for their team when they're on the court versus when they're off the court, where Nikola Jokic jumps out as by far the most valuable and important player to his team.
minus 8.5 when he's off the floor? Bro, what are we doing? No, but not we. What are the Nuggets doing, bro? Oh my gosh. Dang.
Our league. His presence on the floor is the difference between the Nuggets being a net negative 8.2 points, bordering the worst team in the NBA, and a plus 10.6, one of the best teams in the NBA. For many of these MVP candidates, their team can still compete at a high level even when they're off the court, like the Celtics without Tatum, the Cavs without Mitchell or without Mobley,
They
the
barely
Lakers
move,
without LeBron,
low-key.
and the Thunder without Shai. Steph and Giannis are the only other MVP candidates who elevate their teams from below
Curry need to come
average
back from
to
injury,
title
bro.
contenders.
For
But
real.
without Jokic on the floor this season, the Nuggets are nearly the worst team in the league. Now,
And this man's not MVP? So you're telling me the Nuggets are one of the worst teams and it is the worst team in the NBA when Nikola Jokic is not on the floor. Now, when Shai's on the floor with the Thunder, obviously they OC. Plus 18 is crazy. But when Nikola Jokic is off the floor, you're telling me they are one or the worst team in the league? Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. It's in front of your face. You feel what I'm saying? You can't even deny it, baby. Like, come on, man.
worth considering who these players play around when they're on the floor. A rotation that tends to keep starters together is bound to favor those in that starting lineup compared to a rotation that pulls and plugs periodically. For example, if Jokic tends to play with starters more often than not, but SGA is constantly playing with rotational players, Jokic's numbers are going to appear better on paper because he's playing alongside a better group. And so I looked into this. How many possessions these MVP candidates have played this season, and how many of those possessions were
No,
exclusively
Donovan
with
Mitchell
the
was the
starting
MVP
lineup.
candidate.
And it turns out that Nikola Jokic does have the benefit of playing with the best players on the Nuggets more than any of these other candidates play with theirs.
8.7 for Curry with starters? Dang. They were just flipping and flopping, huh? Okay.
17% of all of his minutes on the court coming alongside the Nuggets starters.
I ain't
For
lying.
compar-
W. Jimmy High Roller with the research, though. I don't know where he be getting all this information from, but W. Jimmy High Roller, he really be putting in time and effort, bro. That's real.
Steph only plays with the Warriors starting lineup 9% of the time. But in most cases, this number is negligible. For example, Giannis plays with the Bucks starters virtually as much as Jokic plays with his. And at most, the difference in time these players see on the court with their best unit varies by less than 10% of their total playing time. In other words, it doesn't really matter who Jokic is playing around. He rises the tides for his entire team significantly more than anyone else in the entire league. In fact, according to Cleaning the Glass, when you translate these on-off splits to an estimation of impact on Denver's record, the Nuggets are a staggering 45 wins better as a team when Jokic is on the floor versus when he isn't. For comparison, Shai's on-court impact on the Thunder projects to them being about 15 wins better as a team. But this is where the discussion becomes a matter of what you value most in your most valuable player. Because while Jokic elevates the Nuggets to one of the best teams in the league, Shai elevates the Thunder to being one of the best teams of all time. Is it more valuable to drag your team from being bad to being in title contention? Or is it more valuable to elevate your team from title hopefuls to overwhelming title favorites?
Okay. Me personally, I would rather have a person bring a bad team to a great team that can win to a person that has a team that title hopefuls to title favorites. Now, still me personally, bro. Yeah, all the stats say the Thunder is nice and all that. I don't think the Thunder's winning the ring, bro. All right, I'm just keeping it about. Like I just don't see it happening. But Jokic, bro, like bringing a bad team to being a great team that can win. I ain't gonna lie, that's just fire, bro. That's looking like LeBron and what was the year he took the Cavs? 09 or something like that. Which one would y'all rather have though? Like that's just like I'm pretty sure that would be like common. It's not common sense actually, but like I'm taking Jokic though. Like bad or great, yes, 100% every time. Like A player from bringing a great team to one of the greatest teams, that's fire. Like that's crazy. But like Jokic, the Nuggets without Jokic, bro, they're in the mud. They're not even making the playoffs. They're not even making the play-in. They have a chance to win a ring. I'm not saying they are or they're the favorites or nothing, but they have a chance. That's crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, come on.
Is essentially what the MVP race is boiling down to. A player with ungodly numbers propelling his team to compete at a level they have no business being at, or a historically great scoring juggernaut who is the sole leader of the best team in
He
recent
scored 30 every
history.
game, though. I ain't
And
gonna
the
lie.
answer
One
to
thing
this
about Shea,
question
at least
may
30.
boil down to a third and final ingredient to the MVP award. A factor that is often ultimately decided who has won in the past and will more than likely be the deciding factor this season. In ESPN's most recent MVP straw poll, 100 members of the media were asked to cast their vote on who they thought was the MVP of the 2025 NBA season. The results? Within the top 5, Donovan Mitchell received 0 first-place votes. So did Tatum, and so did Giannis. Nikola Jokic received 30, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received 70 of the 100 first-place votes. So far, the media has spoken, and they think Shai is this season's most valuable player. But in more recent surveys asking players, NBA executives, and NBA analysts, out of the 25 votes that were casted, 18 were in favor of Jokic, and only 7 voted for Shai. Which brings us to our third ingredient in the MVP. Narratives. Beyond what you do on the court, the story has to be in your favor as well. And at the moment, every narrative is beaming directly at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to become this season's most valuable player. First and foremost, he is the best player on the best team, a formula that has led to more MVPs than any other. While Jokic is fighting the uphill battle of voter fatigue, Shai is ripe to receive his first MVP. He's not just having a great season, he's having an all-time great individual season. He plays both sides of the ball, he is the leader of the NBA's brightest young team, and in a league that's been searching for a fresh face, Shai is front and center. SGA has what I consider to be the perfect MVP resume this season. He checks every single box for what you would want in your most valuable player. He has the marquee performances, he has the momentum, he has the caliber, and of course, he's never won it before. But narratives can also lead us astray. They can allow our emotions to dictate how we perceive what we are actually seeing. And that's where precedence gives us points to reference in search for the most fair and accurate conclusion. It allows us to not be prisoners of the moment, but instead consider the history of the game and the unwritten rules we've abided by up to this point. Precedence tells us that no matter how great a player is, winning 4 MVPs before making it to the finals even twice is completely unheard of, even for the greatest players to ever play. For this same reason,
Jokic has not made. Oh, he hasn't lost in the finals. I didn't think about that. I thought he went twice though. I thought he went back-to-back 2 years in a row.
Is a frustrating but very real thing. If the MVP award purely went to the most valuable player in the league every season, Michael Jordan and LeBron would each be sitting on about 8 of them right now. Instead, the award sort of blends from one season to the next, taking in the context of everything that came before it and the consequences of it. Decades ago, MVP voters decided that the award was not reserved for the best player or even the player having the best season. Instead, it was an award that had multiple ingredients, multiple boxes that needed to be checked off. But even by their own criteria, what qualified a player to be the MVP was changing all the time. If it was simply the player having the best season, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8
I'm not gonna lie.
times.
No, I don't think he's talking about narrative still, or he probably is, he might be, but that's one thing in just life in general, bro. I feel like narratives, bro, they just ruin like a whole lot of stuff. You like, let's just say like you, for example, let's say you a hooper, or you football player, whatever you do, you could legit be far better than somebody or noticeably whatever. But if somebody already has a better narrative than you, or people in their minds like already kind of have that narrative, bro, it's literally almost impossible. It's almost impossible for you to change the narrative unless you're doing something so crazy. And even then, bro, sometimes people mind be so set on the narrative, bro. Like, it's like it's never going to change. And that's kind of like involved with like politics and all that, bro. Because like NBA players, you can have a narrative. You can have like a crazy narrative, like or this and or that. But then like for example, look at Shai and Nikola. Shai got this crazy narrative, this aura, this and that. And Jokic, let's be honest, compared to Shea, he don't really got like no significant crazy narrative like Shea has. And that's just where like certain like I can't remember all the examples off the top of my head with just players in general, but like that's involved with like politics and all that too. Narratives can legit destroy somebody's career. If you can be as skilled as you want, but if you don't have a good narrative or like just have a narrative built around you, bro, you're not like, there's only so much you can do until you just fall straight through the ground. You just fall. And there's nothing you can do about it, bro. So a lot of times, bro, it's what people conceive too at the same time, bro. Because some people really are nice. Really are nice, but the narrative just ain't it. Somebody could be doing something better. They could be doing something right. What's going to depict that is narratives, bro. Especially in something where you rely on somebody else. Or you rely on what other people think of you to put you in a certain position. Like sports. The coach has to have a good narrative, things like that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's just in life as a whole.
If it was the best player on the best team, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. But instead, he has 5, which has essentially set a firm benchmark on how voters vote for the foreseeable future. Voters messed up by not rewarding MJ with the number of MVPs he rightfully earned, and so every player that came after him is held to the same arbitrary, convoluted standard. As one fan put it, sports writers regret not giving Jordan all the MVPs and now punish everyone after that like it's a Supreme Court case and not just something they could change at any time. A case of we do it this way because we've always done it this way. The MVP award should be given to the most valuable player in the league, but it's not quite that simple, and it never has been. To make the argument that Jokic deserves the MVP because he is objectively having the best season in basketball right now would be the most logical conclusion.
Yeah,
but it would
that's
also
what
be ignoring the 78 years of history, tradition, and expectations that we have come to follow. Based on the responses to this discussion so far, it appears that now more than ever, the players and the people involved in the NBA from game to game view the award as a reflection of simply who is the best, most impactful player, and the media looks at it through the lens more of story and narrative. And in the end, it is the media who gets to vote. With less than a month left in the regular season, the race for the MVP only seems to be getting tighter with each game. And in what is shaping up to be the greatest MVP battle we have ever seen, voters will have to either stay the course and vote for a player that has built a near perfect MVP case, or make a rare exception to a player that is quite possibly having the most impactful individual season in modern NBA history.
Crazy to think about. Yo, who y'all got, bro? Who do y'all got for the MVP race? I'm not gonna lie, bro. I still got Nikola, bro. Now, obviously, he doesn't always go to the most valuable player, as Jimmy Hovland basically just explained and showed and gave proof and evidence. Because if that's the case, LeBron and MJ, I can like look at be getting born of how much MVPs they'll be getting, but I'm still giving it to Jokic, bro. I know his team is obviously not better record, winning, no. But from what Jokic does whenever he's on the floor and his numbers is just so crazy. I don't even think, like, I can't deny it, bro. As a, I don't know, bro. As a hooper, you just can't deny it, bro. You feel what I'm saying? I think that's just what it is. But if you stayed this long to the end of the video, man, I truly do appreciate you for watching. You feel what I'm saying? Hopefully, you're having a blessed day. You continue to have a blessed and fantastic day in Jesus' name. But without further ado, I'm about to see y'all young boys in the next one, man. Love you, Jesus. Yee!